Some people say to me, what are you doing? I'm kind of like, oh, it's all over the world. There's people here, there, and everywhere.
There
Yeah.
we are.
There you are. You're in the States, right, Robert?
Yeah, Ohio.
Ohio? Okay.
Cold
Okay.
Ohio.
Cold, is it?
Well, not yet. Wintertime's always cold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's not unlike up here. Yeah. No. Very much the same.
Were you at Toronto or something?
Yeah, just to the west of Toronto, about 2 hours outside.
Okay, so we're in the same time zone anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Still in Eastern. And yeah, we get very similar weather between you guys in Pennsylvania and us up here. It's all kind of the same all the time. Very
Yeah.
cold, very damp, very awful, generally speaking.
Yeah, pretty much. Long winters.
Yes. Too long.
But would you
Stop laughing, Brian?
The question is, would you live anywhere else? So that's
yes.
Oh, you would.
The answer
okay.
is a resounding yes.
Okay. Ooh, gosh.
I've been here all my life, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's right.
I've been here all my life too, but I don't care. That's fine. I have an adventurous spirit, so I'm good with that.
Yeah, got the travel bug. That's good. Same here. And move around.
Yep. I don't mind going places and seeing things, and yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, well, we got a big bit of dirt out here in Australia, so you can.
Well, yeah, save me a corner. Save me a corner there, Brian.
There's lots of places from warm to cool to dry to wet to whatever.
Yep. Hi, Laurie.
What we're here to do, though, I'm Brian from Melbourne in Australia, and we have.
And I'm Ann Armitage from Ontario, Canada.
And we're really the hosts here for this sort of just baby boomers power hour.
Oh yeah, save me a corner. Save me a corner there, Brian.
There we go.
Hold on. We got reverb going on.
Yeah, it's all right. It's because somebody was, which is
it's me.
That's
okay. It's you?
Jeanette.
Okay, right. Jeanette, we forgive you.
You wanted this twice. That's it.
Go lay down. Oh, I can't find it. Where the heck are you?
We're here. We're here.
I know where you are. I'm trying to find you. Hold on.
You go down to the bottom of the screen, there'll be a little icon with like a video camera.
Yeah, Jaden, go lay down. Yeah, I know. For some reason, I got two of them open. I'm trying to figure out which is which.
We'll have it there. So what we'd like to do is jump on. I mean, first things first. On Tuesday was a no-go. And we're sort of talking about so the trade that we were sort of saying, hey, we'll get into this. Didn't work out. That's okay. It's just how it is. And what we have is the reason, or maybe the reason why that occurred. So there was, I don't know. Can you remember if we looked at Forex Factory or anything like that?
As I said to you earlier, I don't recall if we did or we didn't. If we made that mistake, that's entirely possible. But for whatever reason, the trade was going along quite nicely. And then all of a sudden, as we were expecting it to go up for the buy, it just went shot right back down. So there had to have been some sort of an event, a news event of some description that we somehow missed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the thing. So this is probably the important thing that we do now then. Just go and have a look at Forex Factory.
That's right.
So this is my time at the moment. I'm now on Friday, so there's really nothing in here. There's just some yellow, a bit of orange for NZD,
But that's a ways from now anyways. So.
Yeah. And if you want to, you can also look up, there's also MyFX book has a calendar as well. So if we just go there, to sort of nothing. There's all low stuff there as well. That's my time here at the moment. So it's, just before here, or I'm just in here.
Whoa, got some car noise. Even looking ahead, it's all low impact. So.
Yeah. Well, last week was NFP, so non-farm payroll. So that because it was the first Friday of the month for you.
Yeah, but Tuesday wouldn't have been affected by that. So
correct.
All right.
So is it okay if we look at?
Let's see what we can find.
BYOB as well. I just wanted to. I was just showing, did anybody notice this in the Euro USD? It's like, it was just like, yeah, down, trend. This massive down. And so it tried to push up and then it just dropped. The bottom just absolutely dropped and then it crawled back. And this was over 21.45 to 3. So it's basically over 4 or 5 hours that this happened. And if we measure that from the top here where it went up to there, that's 137 pips down it went.
Yep.
Within a very short period of time, like an hour.
That was only like a bit more than an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. And up there is 150 pips back up.
Crazy.
Yeah. And I was asleep for all of that. So I didn't have any opportunity to get in there, where you may have had that in your different location in the world and stuff. So, all right, just wanted to look at that first. Let's have a look. Now we've got, this is the latest NZD USD, which was an hour and 7 minutes ago. Now, the thing is, I unticked these M5. So we're looking at 15 hour, 4 hour and dailies if they're up. This is a 1 hour. You can see NZD USD. It was called an hour ago. And basically, I'll just pull it across there. It's calling for a sell. Now it's pushed past this sort of support level here and it's going down. Now for me, this stochastic is down and pretty damn low. We're talking 9. It's like well down in the bottom. How long it will stay down there, anyone's guess. So if we just do this, and this may or may not. So I like to sort of put this on to see sort of where we're at. So what's happening is the US dollar is actually, well, it's stronger than in New Zealand. The only thing is right here, it's back there. See where they crossed over?
Mm-hmm.
New Zealand went down. Right? US currency in relation to the New Zealand dollar is stronger. So you're going to get a downtrend. When they came together here and tried to, and kissed and then went off, it was a little bit of a love kiss and then, away. You have this one candle with a high wick up. It tried to push up, came back down, finished as a buy candle, but it's but these are, we got to remember, these are Heikin-Ashi candles, so they're averaged out as well. If you were to change it to standard candles, it'd look slightly different.
Completely different. Yeah.
Well, yeah, completely different is probably better the idea than slightly. They're still candles.
There's considerable difference.
There's considerable difference. And I think that Des Jackson pointed that out in one of her posts. She was saying, please do not be sucked into MT4 Heikin-Ashi because it will not give you what's really happening.
No, they're not correct. They're not the same either as if you do it on TradingView, for example.
Yeah.
They come up different.
On the live trading I did yesterday, and we were doing Underground Railroad. It's a different strategy as such. I talked about, and I don't know if I spoke about this on Tuesday. Please remind me if I did. I talked about PIT.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Good. So when we look at this, the point in time to get into this was there.
Yes.
This is too late of a point in time to get into a sell down here because it's already made that move unless it drags along the bottom. But then again, the New Zealand dollar is becoming slightly stronger compared to the US dollar. So that's sort of saying it's running out of steam. If we come back to the candles, you can see boop, big down, little, oh, another one tried to push down, come back up. We're starting to get a wick at the bottom of them, bigger wicks, nothing at the top, which is telling me they're trying to make more selling, but they sort of, the buyers are holding them up. And when we look also too, sorry, I'll just come back over here. So this is 1 hour and we got 48 minutes. So we're only 10 minutes in on this candle. We really can't make too much assessment.
No.
If we, though, were to go down to the 15-minute, you can see that in actual fact, New Zealand's stronger, and this has started to pull off the bottom anyway. It's not exactly the same as what the 1 hour is, right? You can't, please don't confuse these with when we go time frames. It's just telling me when I drop down here, it's just telling me that momentum of this downtrend from here to there is sort of being lost. Yeah, this is crossing over and this is starting to pick up. Now, what can you make, and anyone can chime in, from this, what sort of assessment can you make? If you know, are we trading on the 15-minute or are we trading on the 1 hour? I mean, the signal came out on the 1 hour as a potential sell.
If it were me, I would still be considering the 1 hour as my primary time frame because that's when it was called or how it was called.
Yeah.
But yes, always going down the time frames also to reconfirm what's happening or what's about to happen in all likelihood.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best way to go. But the others that are here with us, what would you guys be doing?
What would you think about this? I mean, just imagine this NZD-USD. There would have been down this line, there would have been heaps of other calls for sell because 1 hour is only just this one candle back.
Yep.
See, it was 1 hour and 13 minutes. So it was called as a sell back here. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's saying that it should continue for a bit further. So it just depends on how long this RSI sits down the bottom and there. So your thoughts?
No, I agree. I mean, I find, again, with the web analyzer, it is calling something that is probably going to happen, but it's going to be a certain period of time into the future, especially like the most recent calls. So I find with this particular strategy that it's best to go back in time a little bit with some of the calls that were previously made because they will be probably in a more ripe position at that point.
Yeah, the only issue I'm saying here is this is starting to run out of sell potential. And
well, it is. I agree. It is.
We don't know when it's going to turn to go into more buy potential.
No. So it could be quite a ways down the line before it actually does what it's intended or what is suggested that it's going to do.
Yeah. Anyway.
Jeanette or Robert, any comments?
Yeah, on the 15, it just goes up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a little bit of an indecision on it. There's a little bit of uncertainty as to, you know, is it going to continue in the sell? Is it going to turn for the buy?
And the cloud, I got the cloud up and it's getting smaller. Does that mean less activity?
Yes. Yep, it does. The wider the cloud is, the more momentum there is.
All right. So, Jeanette?
Yeah, that just confuses me that it called for a sell and it's so far down on the stock down here.
From where
I wouldn't take it down that was that low.
Yeah, that it already taken that much distance, correct. I mean, when you measure it here from here down to there, like that's 47 pips only though. So it has potential that it could drop more, but you know, we're starting to see, is this little upturn here, is this a retracement? Because what you see here from there, if you look at that point and where the candles are, as that went up and it did that little, you know, flattening, you went up, it flattened and then went up again. And once it hit there, that must be some sort of a ceiling there or a resistance level. And basically it, as this dropped down, it went down. I mean, if you look at these, the same, they separated there and went further apart. That's where you had that sell. Now they've crossed over and they're starting to come back together. I mean, this is on 15-minute, but if we go back to the hour, you know, again, it's looking like it's still in a downtrend at this point. Is it okay if we look at other pairs as well?
I think that's, yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I would probably go back, maybe look at GCAD that's further back, or even AJ on the 15s and see where they're at. Because while AJ might be a little bit far away now because it's 3 hours, but
Well, it's just
GCAD
2 hours.
might
So
be.
yeah, I'll try GA to start with.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll have a look
Sure.
there
Go for it.
and bring it
Let's
over.
have a boo.
It's looking for a cell now. That's turning, but it's no. It doesn't fulfill the requirements. It's not high enough. I mean, if it was there, if point in time was here, but still there's no flip occurred. Not appropriate at this point. Okay. GCAD. It's a cell as well. Still not in the right position for a cell. Yeah.
No.
If we were back here,
Not from
or-
the point
or
at which it was
there,
called. Yeah.
it's still, it would have been, we would have had to wait. So it was, if it was there, we'd seen it and we waited to where that flip just there, then you would get that many pips.
Halfway down by then, though.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's the point at which there's a certainty that it is going to go in that direction. That's the reason why we wait.
And then, Robert, if you want to be keen, what you would do is you'd go down, look at the 5 minute and see has it flipped at that point. No, it didn't flip until here, but then it came up. So that's, let me go back to the 15 and I'll put a line in and I'll show you what I mean. We have that. And if we go, that's where we set it, that candle. Yeah.
Yep.
So if I go back to the 5 minutes, Robert, that's there. But in actual fact, the flip was somewhere there or even there.
No. Yeah.
So, if you did get in there, you would have retracement back to there. Then it would go down. Then you'd have retracement. That's just how that would work in the trade. And you'd still be in there down to there. Are you willing to do this?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To have a few more. And look, let me put, let me do this. We'll just do it horizontal. So, like, for example, if you got in there, or if you got in, say on that candle, wasn't it? Yeah, there somewhere. So if you got in there. So what's the distance between them? And plus, you've got to consider this retracement.
Yeah.
So it's 10 pips. Yeah. And the overall is, if you got in there and down there, that's 24. So you might have got 30, sorry, it's 22. You might have got 32, but is 22 okay for you?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So sometimes I think what Anne's saying, the rules are here because of the highest percentage of successful trade that you will occur. And remember, I think this is one of the things to remember, we're only looking for 10 pips. We're not looking for as many as possible. We're looking only for 10 at this point. Once you can secure 10, you can start to then, over numbers of trades, then maybe look at this maybe a bit early if you want to, but you need to get that experience. And then there may be pips after that 10 pips. Again, Robert, it would be that you would need to be on the chart, looking at it, monitoring it quite
closely,
with a fair bit of focus.
Yeah.
Because you can see it pull down there and then it sucked back up. So, as you see it's starting to come back up, do you go, look, I'm out of the trade?
That's one of those moments where you just have to say to yourself, okay, I have my 10 or I have a 15 or I have more than my 10. So I'm happy with that. I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
And out.
Okay, so that's Canadian on that. Let's go down to AJ. So this is 3 hours and 6 minutes ago. And it's still a sell. There's a fair bit of selling in the market going on. So 3 hours, this is on a 15 minutes. So when we're talking 3 hours, what's
back there?
Oh, oh, okay. That keeps changing on me. That's why. Sorry. Yeah, because I open up a new. So somewhere around there, it got called. Yeah.
Mhm.
Seems like it always does the opposite of what they call for.
Well, one
No,
of the,
it's just calling a little in advance.
That's what
It's
I'm
telling
correct.
you it's telling you what to keep an eye out for.
Correct.
Okay.
It's not telling you this is ready to go right this very second. Occasionally that is the case, but overall the web analyzer is saying, "Hey, wake up! Keep an eye on this one."
Yeah.
Okay.
Particularly on, well, if they were hourlies, it would be that this is a 15-minute. Even if it was called back there, that you could see where the point in time, if you had seen it here and it called for a sell, I'd be going, well, that's not going to happen. We're going to have a buy.
Yeah.
Because you could see it coming off the bottom, right? So in that there, if you had have got in there and you're up there, that's, 7 or 8 pips. It's not a lot, all right? As far as the rules are concerned, we've got a flip there, but the issue is we haven't got it above 80 or below 20 at this point in time.
Or close enough to it.
Yeah, won't happen.
Yeah.
And it hasn't pushed up or down there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with time and experience with this particular strategy, there are points at which, for example, what's happening with this one, where it kind of got up almost fairly high up, and then it decided to sort of make its way back down again, and we have the SAR flip, and we have the right candle, and so forth. With experience, you might be able to still make use of that, but when you're just learning this strategy, it is best if you very much stick to the rules and stay with the program.
Yeah.
Stick with the rules. Don't waver from that, because again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Basically, there's a reason why others have come up with these things and they've come up with these rules and guidelines, and it's because they work.
I've been doing different things on my demo. It seems like as soon as it clears the spread, it starts going the other way. It's like, what? So I jump out real quick on my demo.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you can do when you're early in your trading, journey. You tend to go like, oh, hang on a minute. Oh, no, I'm out.
Yep.
Jumping in, jumping out. It's called the, bit of the leapfrog, mate. So again, because I keep going across rather than saving them, 7. So that was called, this is your USD 3 hours ago as well.
Yeah.
So somewhere in here. See how it's gone up and that? It's getting ready. Oh, this is AJ. Sorry, still.
This is still AJ again, when we still don't
yeah.
have it up far enough.
No, sorry.
For the
I'll
sell?
just go to the, I thought I clicked on Euro USD. That's the reason why. Oh, yeah, that's that crazy stuff going on there.
Yeah.
This has come up on the 4 hourly, though, as a sell.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 3 hours ago. So
Going up quick now.
yeah. But, this is like, that's the candle 3 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's saying sell. But, if we then look at the 1 hour, see how it is going into a sell and see how that's happening there. If we go to 15 minute, see how that's gone into a sell.
Yep.
So it's gone from there down. If we had been here at point in time, we could have got that bit of sell, but we wouldn't have got in until there because of the flip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
it
very
really
interesting.
Have been worth it. Yeah.
No, correct. But if you look at this though, Robert, let's see. Say we came onto the chart. There's nothing there, and there's nothing down here, right? If we look at that and see how it's starting to go down, you go, wow, that's a good trade, right? I'll get into that. You can't get into it until the SAR flips if you're following the rules, right?
Right.
Okay. So see where it goes down, 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 down. Oops.
It's all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, and it's nearly to the bottom before the SAR flips up the top. You
Yeah.
see on the actual candles.
Yeah.
And so basically it's just run out of momentum there. And that's probably more the point, because there's just no volume really in there. I don't have a volume thing on it. So, like, look at all this volume here, and then all of a sudden it just does that. So in some cases, BYOB, like, for it to be beneficial, because all these little, to be honest, piddly candles, they're making stochastic go down, but it's not, you see, what you really want is, once it starts moving down, to have big enough candles that the SAR flips, and then you're in while it's still in that downward trajectory.
And that is one of the things that we do know with this strategy as well, is that when the candles are quite small, and they have wicks and so on, we know that it's probably not a trade that we want to get into, because we can expect a change coming.
Yeah. But from here, like, that doesn't tell you that that was just going to rocket down.
Yeah.
If you were here in point in time, like, if we had have been on here live at this point, that's a good point to get in, because you see that. So let me do the relativity here for you. This is real. This is relative. And not a relative like, like the cousin that comes and tries to stay. We're not talking about that relative. We're talking about it relative to the candle. So see the big drop and see the big rise?
Yeah.
See the drop and the rise, right? Can you see the drop? Can you see the drop here and see the drop there? So you go, hang on a minute, that drop is smaller than this drop, but that is 140 and this is probably 10 pips.
Yeah.
Very, very different. So if we were in point in time, I can tell you now, if I had seen that and I see the stochastic turning around to come up, and you see that SAR flip on that one, bang, you're in that candle and you're up there.
Yeah.
So that's the relative difference of, again, I bring up this point in time. It's like, when are you at the chart in front of it to actually take advantage of a trade? And so this here, this BYOB trade is worth, no, we're going to go on that candle, so it probably wouldn't be till there. From there up to there is 100 pips within 3 hours and 30 minutes, right?
Wow.
Done. Now,
which at 10 pips a day is 2 weeks worth.
Yeah. But if we see the turn here, if we point in time we were there and we got in, right? But we wouldn't get in till here. And that's the bottom of the turn there. That's minus 1.4 pips.
Barely cover the spread.
And it took an hour and 15 minutes.
Yep. So I think the lesson that we can learn from this, just from these observations, is that when your stochastic is in an appropriate position, either up or down, the faster that you see the SAR flip and the flat top or bottom on the candle, probably the better the move is going to be coming ahead. If it takes a long time for the SAR to flip, and it takes a long time for the proper side or proper shape of a candle to show up, it's probably not a very strong move overall.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. So does this help, Robert, Jeanette?
Oh, yeah.
Seeing it like this?
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned either last week or on your Tuesday is looking at angles of candles. Like, that's not an angle. That's a pancake.
Yeah.
Isn't that consolidating?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, from top to bottom, like, it is still uptrending slightly, but from there to there over a long period of time, it's only a number of pips, very small, where within a couple of hours, this has moved 130 pips. It's just totally different environment. So do you want to sit there for 5 pips, or do you want to be able to be into a trade for 130? This is the, and also too, you know, you can see that comes off the high there and goes down, but there's still no angle in that.
Barely any movement, really.
So people get, so I did, sorry, we won't say people. I personally, in the early parts of my trading journey, got sucked into this so bad that like, oh my God, look at that drop. I'm into that trade. Look at that going. But it does nothing up here. The real candles do nothing. The relative indicator is telling you, you know, it's giving you the impression that it's doing heaps of stuff, but it's not.
Yep.
And when it does do heaps of move, it's the same as when it only moves a little bit in the candles.
Yep.
So
I think the other, sorry, can I just make a point,
go
Brian?
for it. Yeah,
I was just going to say the other interesting thing that I see by, again, analyzing this particular chart is that when we look again at the upward movement, that very strong upward movement that occurred, that first flat bottom candle, notice how far away that SAR is. It is a good distance away. And that's something, again, that we discussed on Tuesday, was the farther away that the SAR is, the stronger the move. So again, if you had been watching it like right at the right moment, on this one, you saw that stochastic come around, you got your candle, you saw that SAR, yes, you would have been in that trade like crazy.
Like Flynn.
Like
Flynn.
That's right.
I don't know if you use that term. I'm not sure. We do here.
It's just us old fogies who do it, you know.
In like Flynn. Did you know that Errol Flynn was actually Australian too, apparently?
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, unfortunately.
Either way.
So yeah, this is the thing. And also too, if you would have been there to see this, you know that hard push down, you know there's got to be a you know, what goes down quick goes up quick too normally, or you know, gradual, because this is more of a gradual sort of move. But
do you think there was some news there or something that triggered that?
Exactly.
Yeah, let's go and have a look. So this was back then. So we got that. Whoops. We go here. That's the that's the news there. See, that's Euro USD, red news. See, 3 Euro red and 2 US red.
Yep. So the 2 Euro reds went down, and then you got the US reds, and it went back up again.
Wow.
But don't try to read them. Don't try to go.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's going to happen that way all the time. It just happened this way this time.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things you want to just be aware that with the news that there is a potential for volatility, so be prepared for it. Most people don't like to trade during it, because of that reason. You can't predict really what's going to happen unless you're really watching the news constantly.
And the news was absolutely there, Robert. That's what caused it from. Well, sorry, it didn't. The psychological apprehensions of traders is what made it go up and down. It's the news. It's the reaction to the news that created that. Does that make more sense? Because I always like to look at cause and effect and where it really comes from. It's not the news. That's just a product of something. It's how people react to that is what makes the market go up and down. It's very psychological, the market. It's fear, greed, it just all of those emotions. So actually it's emotional more than anything. So the psychology then pushes the emotion, or the emotion pushes the psychology. Yeah. And then people push buttons to buy or sell. That's how it works.
Like, quick, get out, get in.
Yeah.
We just sit and wait on it.
Yeah.
For us, yes, it is, you know, we're so minuscule in the whole scheme of things as far as Forex trading is concerned. We're generally better off just to sort of hang out, wait to the side a little bit and let things pass.
Well, we're 3 to 5% of the total market, basically, retail traders.
Yeah,
so
which is
it's not
minuscule.
In the whole movement of it. It's so we've been here. So this is on a 15 minutes. So if you remember when we first looked at this was down the bottom. See how this is now pulling up? into buy.
Mhm.
Yeah, this
Yep.
here. And if you indulge me, we will put on.
It was called for a sell just again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was called. Yeah, exactly.
So,
There it is
yeah.
just now.
Yeah.
The issue is that euro is stronger, US was, and now it's coming back down again. So from a vortex perspective, so see how that's pulling back down there a bit? This
Yep.
is just not going up as hard or strong. This is just a real flattening effect at the moment of consolidation. So after this sort of move in the market, people are a little wary. So
Yeah.
they tend to, and also too, you think about it from, where was it? From there, that candle there on, we're now, so US session finished, we're now in Sydney and going into Tokyo, Asian session. So there's not a lot of appetite to move it around. There's not that volume to create momentum. Yeah. And you can see it's called for sell again. There's a whole lot of sells being called. Back here's the only sort of buy. We're talking, 3 hours back here again as well.
So do we want to just look at some other pairs, or
Absolutely. Yeah.
do you,
Not a problem.
Robert, Jeanette, do you guys want us to look at any particular pair?
Nope.
Nope.
We're here to learn. We're here to learn whatever you want to do.
I have a question for you guys, actually, and Lori as well, who is with us, but she's watching on Facebook. Brian and I were talking after Tuesday and wondering, because of the way the market is and because of the time that we're doing this, we're kind of right at that transitional point. And as we know from experience, that the market usually takes about an hour to warm up. So we were wondering whether you guys would want to push back our trading time to 9 p.m. instead of 8 p.m.
I'd be good with that.
Jeanette, no, yes, no.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, that's fine with me.
So I just,
That would work for
I
you?
think it's a good idea. I think because you're right. It seems every time we've
Yep.
met so far, we're running into this because of the change.
Yep,
Plus, I just-
that's right.
we got
We're
home
right
at
at that
7
moment
after
in
working
time
for 10 hours.
So we were just, because almost immediately, as soon as we finish our session, Brian and I will stay on and chit chat for a bit too. And we're watching the chart still. And we can see all of a sudden they start to make moves. So oh, darn, we missed those. So yeah, you guys are good with that then, eh?
Yeah, I just got off work at 7, so I'm good with that.
So that, means you wouldn't have to rush quite so much then. So that would be a good thing. Lori, what about you? You good for 9 o'clock? She'll just answer on my timeline here.
So
9 would be better. Okay, so it looks like 9 it's going to be.
Yeah, so just a consensus and do that. So that's all fine. That means it'll be 11 in the morning for me, which is fine. 11, because that's the thing. 11 to 1 is sort of where the Aussie Asian starts to sort of bounce around a little bit. So it might be better for us to do that. We'll just see.
Yeah. Well, that's all we can do. We can just try it and see if it works out better. We can actually find some trades that we can get into.
Yeah.
Instead of, well, it's not that the training is a problem, because that's always a good thing too, and it's nice to be able to discuss these things.
But we'd like to get it. We'd like to get.
But we'd like to get you guys a trade anyways too. So
not that we finish it at in the hour and then Ed and I are taking trades after. So it's.
Yeah, my account's funded. I just haven't touched it yet.
Yeah, that's all right.
Don't until you're ready, Robert.
I'm ready.
Don't touch it. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Like I know of a lot of people who spend a lot of time in demo, but I even know of people who have set themselves a target of X number of winning trades in succession before they will actually allow themselves to use real money.
Okay.
And I think personally, from my experience, I think that's actually a good way to be. That's very good discipline, and that's good education for you as well.
I think I'm at 0 and 5 or something like that. 0 wins.
Then I'd say you're not ready.
Well, I'll say this again. If you can show us over 6 months that you have an 80% plus success rate with your trades, I would say go for it live, because you've done the trades and done the miles. If it's less than that, then you need to consider whether it's, I'm not saying you have to get to that, but I can say now that successful traders, that's where they sort of sit at. This is, what does this look like?
Well, it looks an awful lot like EU to me.
Correct. This is EJ though.
So funny how the Japanese yen behaved the same way.
It's the same as the other one.
Yeah, EU. That's right. That's what I'm saying. You find, because I just pulled it off here. EJ was called here 3 hours 37 minutes ago for a sell. And yes, it's done that little sell, but again, and this is where it will be good if we start an hour later. You see, it finishes off the US session, and then it just gets into the Aussie here, and it crawls along. I can't do that. I can't. That's right, because we're in there. I'm trying to find the session break, because I keep having to change the time to find when we're for me, to make it easier, where it was just there. That's where the US market closed.
New York ended.
And we're into Sydney there. It's like just flats, and that's okay. It's interesting though when you start to see pair up. So this is euro, Japanese yen. Before we looked at euro USD. I'll just go back to that one. Go back to there. And
I do find it peculiar that they are very similar when it's like different.
I thought you was on the same chart.
You thought it was the same, didn't you? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's almost identical. Yeah.
It's actually the same base currency, and the second one is different. That they've reacted the same.
Yep. Very strange.
That's like when we're doing the Underground Railroad strategy we've been doing. We look at GA and GN, so GBP AUD and GBP NZD, and they basically just really copy each other in their actions. So let's go down here, USD CAD. Let's see if we can get something, because point in time, it's just not. Oh, okay. This was for a buy, and this was called
one candle ago.
nearly 4 hours ago. So this is on. Oh wow, it's only there. Okay, great. I mean, that buy. The thing is though, that was because we're on 4 hours and it was 4 hours. It's just that one candle back. So that lift is already there, and from my point of view, that's coming up to the top. There's probably a bit more in there. There might be more juice in the tank, but how far up? Like look at it there. Here it pushed up further. But, like the juice has already been used to create that lift.
Yeah. What does it look like on the 1 hour, Brian?
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, see the lift from there to there. It's already gone up, back down there, and back up again with a little pullback.
Yep.
So now it's lifting back up there again. But overall, that's still an uptrend on that. If we were to go down to 15, you could see it's still in a little up. But again, that's going to run out of juice here and then come back again. The thing is, overall, though, you got to work out, is this trend going to continue or is it going to turn? It's not. That's where you sort of look at it on a higher time frame, hourly. No, that's still got juice there. Yeah. But then again, these candles are starting to get wicks on the top, bigger wicks on the top than on the bottom, which is saying it's trying to push up, but it's being pulled back. You see those number ones there, you got wick top and bottom, and then it goes into a bit of a sell. Yeah.
Personally, I look at this and I don't like it.
Well, not at the moment. It's not. No. And also point in time, we don't know.
Yeah.
I actually have a sense that in a short period of time. I'd be putting this on a watch list, USD CAD. If you watch this over the next, we're on hourly. So if you watch this over the next 1 or 2 hours, I think what you're going to do is you're going to start, there may be some pips in there for a sell. I don't know how much there'd be. You know, maybe not many in it. But that retracement there was worth a bit, whether it would retrace or not. So we just got to see if that fulfills the criteria. Is it up the top? Does it do enough angle? Is there a flip? Do you get in? You know?
Yep. Exactly.
That was USD CAD. We've already done GBP AUD, haven't we? That was up here.
We did. What else could we have a look at that might be, that tends to have some movement to it? I don't know. GJ, does GJ?
Okay, we will. Okay. We're in an uptrend here. If it's in an uptrend, the only bit we're going to get out of this, see how it's turning back up? You're getting that little bit of buy there.
Yep.
That'll be, you know, if you look at that and then look over there, it's like it's come up, down, up a little bit, then back down. It's looking like it's doing this sort of thing.
Yep.
And when you saw that come down there, that's what happened. When you saw it come off there and down, that's what happened. So let's just measure those and see, are they worth, you know, that's 49 pips there. Thank you very much.
Well, it's the 1 hour chart. So yeah, I would think they would be.
And that one down there's 100
That's got to
pips.
be 100. Yeah.
You guys trade the 1 hour a lot?
You want to answer, Ann?
It's a very personal decision overall as to what timeframes you like, and it really depends on the type of a trader that you actually are. If you're more of an intraday or a swing trader, then you will be focusing on the much higher timeframes. Probably the shortest time frame you would look at would be the 1 hour, but focusing more on the 4 hour and the daily charts. When you're a scalper, then you're more inclined to look at the 1 hour and below.
Yeah.
So there isn't necessarily one in particular, but it will also, again, depend on maybe the strategy that you're looking at. So for example, with BYOB, when Tasha is training with it, then she will always do the trades and take the trades off the 15-minute chart. Yeah. She might look at the 1 hour still to see, again, to confirm trend, but she will do the actual trading off the 15-minute chart. And until you get practice with it and get really good at it, then that's the best thing to do. Once you get your experience under your belt and you've got your good trades coming in and stuff, then you can start looking at other time frames also.
Okay.
The difference really is, Richard, you've got, Robert, sorry. No. Yep. Yes, Robert. The difference is, if you're on the hourly and you put a trade and your trade is in, say, this trend direction as a buy, you have to sort of suck it up when it retraces down and then goes off again, and then suck it up when it retraces and then goes off again, right? If you're a 15, 5, 15, 30-minute trader, you would get in the trade, get out,
get in the trade, get out.
Wait for this. Well, yeah, you've got two options. You could either do a sell and then get out and then get back into a buy and then get out, then get a sell, or because you see the trend, you might just do the buys, leave the sells alone, then just get in for the buy again. So a lot of it will actually come down to lifestyle. So if you're not, and it's really basic, if you're not able to be there, because scalpers to a certain extent, they sort of spend a lot more time sitting on the charts, wanting to get their 10 pips, 15 pips, 5 pips, whatever it is, and they're constantly looking at trades that will roll over, and they'll get. Where a person doing, 1 hour, 4 hour daily type charts, they sort of look at it in the morning or look at it in the evening, or have another little squeeze at it in the middle of the day to sort of take a trade. And they have to sort of swallow the retracements in the trending, or they have to swallow a complete trend change.
Yeah.
So the danger with it in higher time frames is you say for here we go. Oh no, I can't do it like that because it's not where. Oh yeah, I can. Hang on, I'll just do this. This is an example. Say you're here and you're in a cell and you sell and everything's really nice, right? It hits there and off it goes. If, for example, that is a day later, you've got that trade, and then if your stop loss is not in there, you've now lost everything that you've made.
Yeah.
Because of a trend change, right? If though the trend continues like it has over here, it goes up, back a bit, up, back a bit, up a bit. If this continues going up, happy days.
Keep making money.
But as soon as this changes and starts going down, that sucks.
Yeah.
Unless
in a
you're
word,
in
for
that,
this kind of trading, you have to have nerves of steel.
yeah.
You really do. Because again,
Yes.
those pullbacks can be considerable. And when you see that you're being pulled back by 150 pips, that will be enough to turn most people's stomach.
Can you stay
Can
in?
you tolerate it?
Yeah. Knowing that you have seen the charts, you've got the overall what it looks like, you know the trend is going that direction. Like, see, this is the thing. If we actually drew a trend line up there and say that's now doing the trend, that's broken the trend, your psychological mind is going, that's going on the other side of the line. It's not continuing up. I better get out of this damn thing.
And panic sets in. Yeah.
But if you're asleep and it does that, you've got no way. You're not reacting. You haven't Zeds. You know what I mean?
Do they make automatic stops that follow you up?
Yeah, you can have what's called a trailing stop. Correct. It trails, or it's like, have you been married?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Too long.
That's all right. It's okay. It's like, it just gives me more of an insight. Is there a tradition in the US that, when you drive away in the car, they have cans dragging behind?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So a trailing stop is like those cans. As you drive along, the cans just bounce along and follow behind you. But if you stop and back up, you're going to run over the cans. A trailing stop is exactly the same, like a can. You set it, and as it keeps going in the direction you're going, it will follow you. But as soon as you back up, it'll hit the can and get you out. So that's what a trailing stop is.
I like that analogy. That's a good one.
I'm not doing it again. I did it once. I ain't doing it again.
You mean the cans, or you mean the trailing stop?
Got married.
Yeah.
The cans.
Yeah, you can do this and you don't have to. So example would be, you could get in the trade anywhere along here, and this little retracement might not be enough to take out your trailing stop. But then when it gets here and it starts pulling back this much, then it will throw you out. Depends on what you set the trailing stop to be.
Yeah.
So is this helpful?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
So the thing that stuffs up a longer term trader can be, a longer time frame trader can actually just be a trend change. So, the other one was USD CAD that I reckon put on a watch. This British pound Japanese yen. Now, it's not showing up in here, but I would be looking at this. This will do a little upturn, and then it'll start going back down. You can see doing a little upturn.
Yep.
If I was to put on, again, I don't know how many times I'm going to not look at the screen when I'm typing, but I've got to look at the keyboard. You can see where that has gone up, but it's also starting to turn a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be interesting to watch it and see what happens in the next, hour and a half or so, and where it moves.
If you go on the 15-minute, see, GJ did the same thing. See, GJ did a similar thing to what
Mm-hmm.
EU and EJ did
Yeah, it's funny how the Japanese yen reacted the same way as the US dollar,
to a certain extent. Yeah.
Yeah.
or
So
the not the money, but you know, the market did.
the pattern of the tray, yeah, of the candles.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not in the right spot from BYOB, but
No, it needs to hook back up further.
but that's only 15. You see, that's not right. But if we go back to that 1 hourly, that's going to get ready for a sell drop. But whether it's a change of direction or only just one of these retracements, you'll never know until after the event. Okay, what else have we got? We're nearly at the hour too. Oh, actually, I want to look at that one. Your AUD. Let's see where that is.
Wow, that was a fast hour.
Yeah, it goes quick when you're having fun, doesn't it? So that was for a sell, I think it was, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't EA. Where is it? Where's it going? Yeah, EA was for a sell.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
It's doing that. It's on the 4 hourly, right? But it was called 4 hours ago, so it was just that. So what? Again, I would say, right? If you look at this, EA is on the 4 hourly. We'll go down. Let's go down to the 1 hour. Yeah, it's done that buy. This is on the top, and
oh, look how high that is. Woo.
92, right?
Be watching that. Watch out for a second.
Yeah, thank you. You're onto it. I'd be looking at this, and then if we look at the 15, because we're in the Aussie session, I reckon in the next hour or so, you start to maybe look at this because we're on the 1 hourly. You know, the next couple of hours, I reckon you'll start to see a drop in there. These are a long way away from there. So it's going to have to drop a fair way to. So
before that flips over.
The angle's not hard. It's, this will be down the bottom again before you're able to get into a trade. So just watch it though. Look at this though. That sort of drop would be nice.
Yep.
I mean, you look at it from, just about there.
The SARs are telling us though right now that it may just hang up there for a while.
Correct. It may. That's 132 pips there. And this just went up by, well, recently. Let's go from here up. That's 165.
Yeah.
And this is quite high. But again, don't be sucked in by
that alone.
Indicators. Exactly. But you see here the up, and then this has gone into, but overall, that's still a downtrend. That is still a downtrend. It's now gone into a, this doesn't look like a, it doesn't look like a retracement. This looks like a bit like a trend change at the moment. So you might not get a big, and then it might go back off again. So that's something to think about.
Be interesting to see what happens with it.
So USD CAD is to keep an eye on. GBP JPY is to keep an eye on. And Euro AUD, keep an eye on in the next 1 to 2 hours, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh gosh, I got my alerts.
Your alerts are going off like crazy.
Sorry, I'll go and look at it. They're all the AUDs. So those ones, my alerts are on AUDs. So we might just quickly see that's a Euro AUD.
Yep.
But if we look at AUD CAD, for example, I'm not. Yeah, look at this. This is ready to take off for a buy.
Yep.
You'll see if you want to on the SAR when it comes up, and this is in an uptrend. This is probably something I'll be looking at to very soon get in to a trade on that one. That's just me. All right. I'm not saying anybody does. I'm not making a commitment on this, but I'm just looking at that. Yeah.
No, but again, it's worth watching and keeping an eye on because it's close to probably being in position for a trade.
Yeah. This one will be a couple of hours. See how that's down the bottom, pretty low at 10.
Wow, that's really low too.
Downtrend. It's been an uptrend. We've got this down. That's a That's a pretty hefty retracement. Well, I think
Mhm.
we're going to get a bounce off that and come back up again soon.
Yeah.
What else have we got? You do CAD, you do CHF. Hang on a minute. That's the BYOB one.
Odd N.
USD. I know. JPY.
AJ. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just go AJs. Let's see what that's doing. Yeah. This is going to continue up. You can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the distance there. So you can see the uptrend there. Those little retracements. This is not telling me there's going to be any change in the foreseeable. So that's for a buy without a problem. Where else are we? USD. Wouldn't worry about NZD. Forget that.
Mm-hmm.
See what that's at. That's down. That's nearly ready too. Even though we've got an uptrend, there's a fair bit of consolidation. There's going to be pips in a buy for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to have a bit, like, see how far away they are.
Yep.
But, you know, Robert, from your challenging point of view is they're so far away that that's going to have to lift up before it flips the SARS. So
It's going to take a little while.
if you're going to follow the rules, there may not be, by the time this gets to the top again, there may not be a lot of momentum. Yet, the more you do that, the more you're going to get your eye in, the more you're going to get your practice on it as well. So my thought would be those pairs at the moment to watch. So USD CAD, GBP JPY, Euro AUD, AUD CAD, AUD JPY, and this AUD USD. They're all sort of setting up in the next hour or so to be ready for BYOB. Yeah?
I might be in bed by then. I might be in bed. One more day of work.
Yeah, you could always put on the ones that for buys, you could always put a little buy stop on it so that when it comes up and goes through that, and then put a take profit of only 10 pips. Just a suggestion.
I've never done that yet.
Okay.
No, something new for you to play with on your demo.
But you have got married once, so there is a chance for you to do something different, you know?
That's why I've been taking a lot of trades just to mess with it and see how it works and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what you should do. That's, you know, I've over time talked to people who have a demo account and they study, but then they're still afraid to take a trade.
Yeah.
It's a demo account. Doesn't matter. That's your chance to muck around as much as you want and learn.
Yeah.
See what makes it tick.
So I think we've got,
yeah.
I don't know, was there 4 or 5 there that I've mentioned, Anne? That
there's
like,
both, yeah, good 4 of them anyways that are good possibles.
And remember, point in time. It's like where you get to see them and where the movement, that's the important thing for you to know. All right. Well, we're an hour and 5 in. So
yeah, I think we'll call it a day.
Is that okay? And from next week, this will be our start time.
9, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll at least give it a shot for a week or two and see if it does change.
Because this is where I'm seeing it starting to sort of have some action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not like the New York market. I mean, it opens at 8, but it doesn't get until around 9 until it starts getting kind of active. So.
Yeah, a little bit warmed up.
Yeah, that's right. They have to warm up.
If people are watching this after the event, which they can do because we have this in YouTube and other things,
we post
and
it in
they're
our group.
interested in all of this and what we're doing, then get back to Anne or myself or whoever's introduced you to this and find out how you can be part of it. And then you can also be doing live trading with us.
Exactly. You can see we have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's helpful, a lot helpful. Doing it on my own, I would be lost.
I was about to say, right? Do you find this helpful?
Yeah, definitely.
So out of this session, what's the one sort of important takeaway that that you go, wow, that was important.
I knew he was going to ask me that.
Well,
All of it, basically.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
just-
No,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
okay. That's fine.
That's
Looking, it's
perfect,
still
actually.
new to me. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's quite okay. It's not a
Yeah.
problem.
you guys don't use the EC11 anymore?
I know we do. Yeah. Yeah. It's just that we can look at that as well.
I think I looked at that once or twice. Then they started with the BYOB. Then I started on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we've
that's
just
okay.
kind of migrated to this one for the time being because it's that much simpler.
Yeah.
And most people can kind of get a handle on the 3 simple rules that are involved. So we just thought we would kind of start working with this one a little bit more, especially since, a lot of new people do tend to jump on the live sessions, and it's easier for them to figure out.
Okay. Makes sense.
So Jeanette just
That's what I like.
Jeanette just messaged in there and say that one of the granddaughter woke up, so that's why she had to go early. But,
Yeah. I
but
realized
if she watches those, just look at those pairs that we were
Yep.
on and go from there. So we'll see you all then next week.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Nighty night.
Not a problem. I'll just stop the streaming.